Hi students, welcome to yet another session of my class. We are discussing Candide by Voltaire. Let us continue the summary of our novel, chapter 18. Cacambo and Candide go to see the village sage. Yes, in the previous chapter we saw that they reached a new village and that village was like not Utopia. So Cacambo and Candide go to see the village sage, a 172-year-old man. Yes, that is a thing. That is, they are going to see the village sage, and his age is 172 years. The sage explains that his people have vowed never to leave their kingdom, which is called El Dorado. Yes, the sage explains the uh, quality or the things that is going on in his country. The sage explains that his people have vowed, that is, they promised the people of this country, they promised that they never leave this kingdom, which is called El Dorado. And the name of this kingdom is called El Dorado. Maybe one more question may be asked. And high mountains surround the kingdom. Yes, then the sage explains the geography of that country. High mountains surround the kingdom, so no outsiders can get into the kingdom. And that makes El Dorado safe from European conquest. Yes, this particular country is surrounded by high mountains, and so no outsiders can get in. And so this particular country is safe from European conquest or European attacks. They also have a god whom they thank every day for giving them what they need. Yes. And there is no religious divisions existing in this country. And they also have a god, that is, they have a worshipping god whom they thank. That is, that their worshipping mode is like every day they expresses their thankfulness towards God for giving them what they need. No religious persecution like previous chapters. Yes, we saw in the previous chapters that there are definite religious divisions existed in the society, and religious persecutions was done in the previous chapters. But here in this new country, no religious persecution occurs because everyone agrees about everything. And this king and the sage, everyone considers all people are equal in the society. So no religious persecution occurs because everyone agrees about everything. Cacambo and Candide visit the king. Yes. After that, these two persons, that is Cacambo and Candide, they visit the king. They embrace him according to customs explained by one of his servants. Yes, that is a new thing. That is, they embrace him, even though he is a king, and these two people they are actually outsiders, but they are, yes, allowed to embrace the king. That is the custom that is following in this country. They embrace him according to customs explained by one of his servants. One of king's servants explained them about the custom that is going on in this country. And they embrace him according to customs explained by one of the servants, and such familiarity and equality of address with a monarch shocks them. Actually, yes, this incident or this familiarity and this equality of address that with a monarch shocks these two people, because this is the first time they experienced such a thing in their life, because no king or nobody allowed such equality. Even though he is a king, he allowed them to embrace him. And Candide asked to see the courts and prisons and learns there are none. Rather, there are schools devoted to the science and philosophies. Yes, Candide asked to see there is no court or no prisons, and learns there are none such like that. That means there is no divisions existing in the society. Everyone is equal, and everyone has the equality. Each and everyone respects each other. Everyone agrees about everything. So there is no need of religious persecution or any other divisions in the society. So instead of the courts and prisons in the country, they set up schools devoted to the sciences and philosophy. After a month, candidate decides that he cannot stay in El Dorado as long as Cunegonde is not there. Yes, after some time or after a month, this candidate decides that he cannot stay in this new country, that is in El Dorado, as long as Cunegonde is not there. Cunegonde is now with the governor. So he decides to take as many Eldorado pebbles. That pebbles is in inverted comma in the sense, according to the people of the Eldorado, it is considered as pebbles. But for Candide and other people outside this Eldorado, it is very precious stones and rubies, pearls, and other precious stones and gold. This pebble may be considered as. So he decides to take as many Eldorado pebbles. So he decided to pick as many or to take as many, that means enough pebbles with him as he can. Candidate decided to take. The king considers the plan foolish, and the king knows that, but he considers this plan as a foolish one, but sets his architects to work building a machine to lift Candide, Cacambo, and 102 swift sheep. Yes, the king gives them 102 sheep as gift, and but sets his architects to work building a machine to lift these two people, Candide, Cacambo, and 102 swift sheep loaded with jewels out of the deep valley. Because this country is or surrounded with high mountains, so no outsiders can get in. So they set his architects to work building a machine and to lift Candide and the Cacambo and 102 swift sheep loaded down with the jewels out of the deep valley. Then Candide hopes to pay Don Fernando for Cunegonde and buy a kingdom for himself. That is Candidate's hope. Candide hopes to pay Don Fernando, that governor. Why uh, he is willing to take that much pebbles from that Eldorado? Because he thinks that to, what is that? Candide hopes to pay Don Fernando for Cunegonde. He thinks that to pay enough money to Don Fernando, that governor, for Cunegonde. He wants to get that lady, Cunegonde. That's why he takes as much pebbles or money from that kingdom. And he hopes to pay Don Fernando. Now he has enough money with him, Candide, in the form of pebbles, not pebbles, in the form of rubies, precious stones, gold, money, then 102 sheep, etc. So he hopes to pay Don Fernando for Cunegonde and buy a kingdom for himself. That is Cunegonde's thinking. So, what do you understand from this chapter? El Dorado, as the old man describes it, is the exact opposite of Walter's Europe. Am I right? Yes. This particular country is exact opposite of Voltaire's Europe. While Europeans traveled the world and colonized distant places, the residents of El Dorado stayed at home, safe and isolated. That is the thing. These Europeans, they were traveled all over the world and tried to establish their colonies over other countries and colonized distant places. But the residents of they have enough money and all, this El Dorado, people of El Dorado, but they decided to stay at home, safe and isolated. While Europe developed complex religious divisions and dogmas, all fighting it out for power and influence, El Dorado stuck to the simple religion of giving thanks to God. Yes, most of the European countries, most of the European countries, we can see the religious divisions, and that religious, that class discrimination is existed in the society, and they developed a complex religious divisions and dogmas, and all these establishment, they try to make it for power and influence. But El Dorado, that here in this country, yes, the people stuck to the simple religion of giving thanks to God. There is no such religious persecutions, or there is no such a religious division is existed in this country, and everyone agrees about everything, and they express their thankfulness. That is their worshipping form. That is every day they express their gratitude towards God for giving such a life. So by setting up El Dorado as opposite to it, Voltaire criticizes the Europe of his time. Yes, that is the main point of this chapter. Yes, by setting up El Dorado in this way, as opposite to Europe. Yes, here El Dorado, this country is setting as entirely opposite to Voltaire's Europe. And with the help of this country and this chapter, Voltaire criticizes the Europe of his time. It is ironic that candidate faults Pangloss for not having traveled more, and in between the thinking this candidate faults Pangloss for not having traveled more, because this Pangloss never met these people. This lack of ceremony involved in meeting the king contrasts greatly with the elaborate rituals which surrounded contact with the kings in Europe. Yes, here, the king in this new country, that is El Dorado, is very simple, and there is no restrictions or strict rules to follow in this country. Each and everyone has, uh, each and everyone, yes, allowed to embrace him. And this lack of ceremony involved in meeting the king contrasts greatly with the elaborate rituals which is surrounded contact with the kings in Europe. And in El Dorado, it is clear that all men are equals. And despite the perfectness of El Dorado, Candide and Cacambo decide to leave. That is another thing. Yes, they got enough freedom, they got enough money, living conditions, everything. But after a month, this candidate decides to leave that country. So their motivation for leaving is right here. Pride in the sense they see the opportunity to set themselves over others. Here, everyone is equal, each and everyone is equal, and there is no way to set their own kingdom here. And they think that they can get enough money and precious stones from this kingdom, and they can establish, with the help of this money, they can establish their own kingdom over others outside this country. That's why here said that their motivation for living is pride. They see the opportunity to set themselves over others. This resembles, so we can compare that with the biblical theme of exilement from Eden in the Bible. The serpent tempts Eve by promising equality with God, and it offers a critique of any perfect society. And moreover, that no society ever could be perfect because men are so far from perfect. These are the important things that Voltaire discussed in this particular chapter. I think all of you understand chapter 18. Then chapter 9. Yes. Cacamba and Candide lose all but two sheep as they travel to Suriname, but the last two sheep still carry a visible fortune. Yes. And during their journey, they lost almost all sheep, and they traveled to Suriname. But the last two sheep, that is still carry a sizable fortune. That is, that sheep carry enough fortune with them. Kakamba and Candide meet a slave on the road who is missing a leg and a hand, and they accidentally or they happen to meet a slave on the road during their journey, and the slave uh, who is missing a leg and a hand. The slave tells them that his own mother sold him to his cruel master Vanderdentur. Yes, and the slave tells about his story that his own mother sold him to a cruel master named Vanderdentur. He tells them of the misery of slavery, and his words prompt Candide to renounce Pangloss' optimism. Once again, Candide met a person with a bad experiences, that is a slave, and this slave he tells them of the misery of slavery. Yes, that is, he explained his own experiences as a slave that explained the misery of slavery to Cacambo and Candide, and his words prompt Candide to renounce, that is, reject Pangloss' optimism, because throughout his journey he experienced bad experiences, harsh or dark realities, etc. So, in this chapter 19, this candidate uh, tried to renounce or to reject that Pangloss philosophy of optimism. Candide sends Cacambo to retrieve Cunegonde and the old man. Yes, Candide sends Cacambo to retrieve, to get back the Cunegonde from the hands of that governor. Meanwhile, Candide tries to secure passage to Venice, and Wanderer offers his ship. Yes, he decided to sail from there to Venice, and the Wanderer, that cruel master of that slave, Wanderer offers his ship to Candide. When Candide readily agrees to Wanderer's high price, Wanderer deduces that Candidate's ship are carrying a fortune. Yes, at that time, this Wanderer finds out that these two ships carried a lot of money and wealth, carrying a fortune. Iskander deduces that Candidate's sheep are carrying a fortune. The candidate puts his ship on board in advance, and Wanderer sails off without him. Yes, actually, this Wanderer makes a trick on Candide, and the Candide lost his ship and wealth. Candide first puts his sheep first on board, and Wanderer sails off with that sheep without Candide, and taking much of Candidate's fortune. Candide, at great expense, tries but fails to obtain compensation through the legal system. Yes, Candide tries uh, his best to get that money back, but fails to obtain compensation through the legal system. He then books passage on a ship sailing for France, and announces that he will pay passage plus a good sum of money to the most unhappy man in the province. Then he decided to set a journey to France. He then books passage on a ship sailing for France, and announces that he will pay passage plus a good amount of money to the most unhappy man in the province. That is his decision, or that is his announcement. Out of the crowd of applicants, candidate chooses a scholar. Yes, there are so many applicants, and out of the crowd of applicants, because of his announcement, because he will pay the passage plus a good amount of money to the most unhappy man in the province. That was his announcement. And out of the crowd of applicants, candidate chooses a scholar among the applicants who was robbed by his wife, beaten by his son, and forsaken by his daughter. Yes, and the candidate chooses the most unhappy man among the crowd. and he chooses a scholar who was robbed by his wife, beaten by his son, and forsaken by his daughter. This scholar who was robbed by his wife, beaten by his son, and forsaken by his daughter. That means the most unhappy among that crowd of applicants. So, what do you understand here? Yes. From this chapter, we can understand that candidate's vast wealth begins to disappear as soon as he leaves that country El Dorado. And riches in the novel are quickly lost and cause more trouble than good. Of all the evil institutions criticized in Candide, slavery is depicted as the very worst. And here, Candide met a man that is a slave, and he explained his experiences as a slave and the misery of slavery. So, slavery is depicted as the very worst. And like almost every other episode in the novel, Candidate's conversation with this character or this slave is completely humorless. It is also the one encounter which causes Candide briefly to give up his optimism. It is his meeting with this slave that causes Candide briefly to give up his philosophy, Pangloss philosophy of optimism. He tried to understand the dark realities or harsh realities of this life from so many characters. And Cunegonde always seems to end up held captive and enjoyed by men other than Candidates. Actually, she starts her life with a new person, Don Fernando, that governor, and who is always just on the cusp of being able to be with her. And in this way, Cunegonde is a symbol for the futility and endlessness of human desires. She also experienced so much uh, sufferings, but at present, Cunegonde seems to end up held captive and enjoyed by men other than Candide. And this way, we can say that this Cunegonde is a symbol for the futility and endlessness of human desire. She is what keeps Candide moving. Yes. In the previous chapter, uh, we saw that Candide took enough money and wealth from the kingdom of El Dorado. It is for Cunegonde. He wants Cunegonde. She is what keeps Candide moving, but also what he can never have. But this Candide, yes, never get the affair and the love of this Cunegonde because she is what keeps Candide moving, but also what he can never have. Candide is tricked countless times in the novel. Yes, here this Wanderdenture also tricked him and he lost his wealth. But after this incident, we see him angry for the first time. In the previous chapter, we can say that yes, so many people tricked him and he lost all the wealth, etc. But in this chapter, he also, yes, he is tricked by Wanderdenture and he lost his wealth. But we see him angry for the first time after this incident. When Candide looks for a traveling companion, yes, and after that he announces, and he is looking for one companion for his travel. When Candide looks for a traveling companion, it should be noted that he looks among the unfortunate. Yes, out of the crowd of applicants, Candide chooses a scholar and who is one of the most unhappy men in the province. And sufferers seek fellow sufferers for consolation. That is the philosophy here. Sufferers. Here, that scholar itself is a sufferer who was robbed by his wife, beaten by his son, and forsaken by his daughter. So, sufferers seek fellow sufferers for consolation, particularly in this novel, that is, in this chapter. These are the important points that he discussed in chapter 19. Then chapter 20. Yes, Candide still has a little money and a few jewels and hopes to use what he has to recover Cunegonde. Yes, that is Candide. Cunegonde is the one who keeps this man moving. Candide still has a little money and a few jewels and hopes to use what he has to recover his lady love Cunegonde. His love and remaining fortune momentarily renew his faith in Pangloss philosophy. In the previous chapter, he rejected, that is, when he heard about the experiences of that slave, or briefly or partially, he tried to reject Pangloss philosophy of optimism, but still he has little money and a few jewels, and still he wants to recover his lady love. So his love and remaining fortune that momentarily for a moment renew his faith in Pangloss philosophy of optimism. Martin the scholar, on the other hand, Martin means that is the person he discovered in the previous chapter for as a traveling companion. So Martin the scholar, on the other hand, maintains that God has abandoned the world because men kill and maim one another everywhere. From his philosophy, we can see that he is a pessimistic scholar. He maintains that God has abandoned or give up the world because men kill and maim one another everywhere. Yes, God abandoned the world because people, they kill each other and they attack each other and maim one another everywhere. Everywhere we can see violence and this type of atrocities. En route to Bordeaux, Martin and Candide watch a battle between two ships. During their journey, they too watch a battle between two ships. One ship sinks and its crew perishes. In that battle, one ship sinks, sinks, and its crew perishes. Candide finds his sheep in the water and realizes that the defeated ship belonged to Wanderer. And soon this Candide finds his sheep in the water and realizes that the defeated ship belonged to that man, that is Wanderer. Candide claims that there is some good in the world, and soon he concludes that, or he claims that there is some good in the world because Wanderer has met with just punishment. Because in the previous chapter, we saw that this Wanderer, he tricked Candide and yes, get all his money, wealth, sheep, and everything. And at present, this candidate claims that there is some good in the world because Wanderdunder has met with a just punishment. But Martin asks why Wanderdunder's crew had to die with him. Suddenly, this Martin, that scholar, asks a question: why Wanderdunder's crew? Yes, Wanderdunder, yes, he is deserving that. Okay, then why Wanderdunder's crew had to die with him? Why? So, here in this chapter, what do you understand? Candidate's optimism, though it has returned, is clearly diminished. He no longer argues that the world is good, but rather that there is some good in the world. Yes, almost his optimistic philosophy is diminishing. We can see that. But sometimes he claims that there is some good in the world. And Candidate's slightly darker outlook brings with it a new traveling companion, that is Martin, is Pangloss' pessimistic opposite. And this Martin is entirely opposite to Pangloss' philosophy of optimism. Martin is Pangloss' pessimistic opposite. And Candide sees the battle as evidence that sin is punished. Yes, Candide considers the battle between that two ships, and he sees the battle as evidence that sin is punished. While Martin argues that you can't see divine justice in a result that involved the loss of many innocent lives, and Martin here justifies that why Wanderer's crew had to die with him. Yes, so you can't see divine justice in a result because so many innocent lives lost their lives here. Why? Candidate's recovery of the sheep goes along with his recovery of optimism. And this sheep represent innocence and purity here, and traits that are associated with the candidate from the narrator's description of him in the first chapter. So, this is the important thing that we get from this chapter 20. I think all of you understand these two chapters. That is chapter 18, 19, and 20. That is three chapters. So, there is a homework for you, and the homework is write a critical note on chapter 18, chapter 19, and chapter 20. Write your homework and send back to me. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you again.